What's
Bobby.
up, guys?
What's up with you, man? Lots of turmoil and recent developments with Dupe. You want to talk about?
Uh, sure. Wait, what's the tweet that you're talking about? What are we doing?
Yeah. Here, where is it? The tweet that we're talking about. This tweet will be the tweet that I'm talking about. Wait, I'm talking about the migration tweet, Bobby. Is what I'm talking about.
Okay,
I'm like,
Help us out, man.
bro. I let's just get to it, man. Don't worry about the tweet. I'm here. What are you looking for the tweet for?
I need some visuals, dude. Unless you
Okay.
just want to look at your mug the whole time.
Yeah. So let's read the tweet together. I suppose.
Narrate.
Look, we had a big week last week. You guys have kind of seen the effect of it. I think we've made some really good choices. I would say especially in the last 3 or 4 months, even though you guys fucking gave me shit for Dupe's price action last time I was on. Screw you
That's
guys.
false. That's false.
Like I control any of this shit. No, look, we decided to migrate. Unfortunately created a huge stampede out. The Believe team would not have been caught by surprise by this. I think this is something that Ben knew about, that we were going to do. The timing obviously insinuates that this was a reaction to the misguided and underwhelming launch of the Believe Flywheel, at least for how they comported themselves that day. But this is something that we've been looking at honestly for months, and decided that this was the right time because we were ready, not whether or not Believe was ready, if that makes sense. Our Flywheel announcement went live early last week. It was one of our absolute most reshared, liked, most bullish, best posts. I think people got it. They saw the vision of what we're they saw the vision of what we're bringing to market. It's totally different. It actually is a flywheel that's integrated not just in the tokenomic sense, but in the core business sense. It's very clear. It shows why the token flywheel accelerates the business flywheel. Of course, they both have to live in concert with each other and serve each other. And we spent a lot of time, I personally spent a lot of time learning about the space and what's possible and where where the gaps were and where we could shine given Dupe's strengths. And this is why we decided to migrate last week. I will say that the high level reasons for the migration, quite simply, is we've done a good job, I think, reaching retail. In no way have we saturated the retail market, but I continue to believe that the distribution of token holdership in Dupe cannot be retail saturated. It needs to be in the hands of credible institutions, financial institutions that understand the long-term impact Dupe is going to have and buy into me as a founder, not just, as, a degen kind of trading a coin or whatever. We are one of the big boys. I know it gets lost in the noise because we've been in this Believe ecosystem or whatever for a long time. And so we've been coupled with a lot of pre-product startups. That is not what Dupe is. Dupe ultimately has over 18 million users, nearly 100 million in GMV in the last 16 months. We have an app that's coming out. We have a very highly used website. We've been on the Today Show. We've been in major publications. Like, people know Dupe. The joke that I like to say is, if you don't know Dupe, just ask your girlfriend. Like, we have reached a lot of people in the last year and a half. And I don't think we were serving ourselves being bundled up with apps that have not been in market before or don't have a product. That it's totally fine. I mean, Dupe was also there once, but we don't want to be bundled up with that. Not when we want to go after financial institutions to be part of our holder base. And we'll make an announcement about it tomorrow. We're announcing the first institution.
Ooh.
And Yeah, and it's a major, you know, like it's a New York firm. It's a major firm, and there will be many more. So that is like a big reason why we wanted to do this migration. The other thing that when I did if you guys remember, I did this interview with Ben back in September,
Yeah.
that gave Believe the Deal Daddy rally.
Yes.
Congrats, Ben, on that one. That Deal Daddy rally, when I did that interview, it became clear to me that Ben was not building what I think he was building, what I thought he was going to build. And he wasn't hiding it. Like, if you watch that interview, he didn't even drop hints. He explicitly said he's not interested in doing, a launch pad like what Pump is doing for ICM or something like this. Like, he very much believes in creators. The definition of creators not necessarily, streamers or whatever. He has a very broad definition of creators, and that he wanted to appeal to more kind of normie mass market, which is totally fine. And seeing that they were not going to do the thing that I think is important for a launchpad to do, to have a winning ecosystem, where you have to market, you have to bring whales to the table and market your ecosystem. You have to be available and spontaneous and interesting at all times so that you can keep the attention of traders. And Believe was not doing any of these things, and they relied on their ecosystem to do it, which is also, by the way, a decision, and totally a fine decision. But when I sensed that, I knew that there was a misfit between Dupe and Believe, and I kind of started accelerating, getting to a point where we can bring out the flywheel, bring on institutions, and migrate correctly, so that we are not seen as a Believe coin, but as Dupe, the leader of ICM, frankly, the OG of this ICM meta, and what I think to be is like maybe the best product, not just in ICM, but in crypto in general. The best product that bridges Web 2. I mean, there's a lot of incredible products in crypto, but very few that bridge Web 2 into Web 3. And I think we've done the best job of it. So I hope that answers the question of why we did the migration.
So I got a question, and I'd like to tie this back. We just had Tom from SOAR on. Do you think? Oh, I'm hearing a bit of an echo. Okay, perfect. Do you think that having a token attached to an ecosystem is a drawback for Believe? Right. Obviously, like they couldn't choose to do it a different way. They already had a token out. But do you think, maybe giving advice to Tom from SOAR, how long should they hold off on launching a token? Maybe your thoughts there.
Yeah. Sorry. I have a fever, guys. I have like 102 fever, and I have the sniffles. I don't know where the fuck I put my tissue. Anyway, I'm just blowing my nose
Just
on
like my kids, use your sleeve.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I like this little, I like it. Yeah, what a great question, by the way. When we, it's so funny. Like, I don't really know much about crypto, as you guys know this. Like, I'm very new to this space. A few months ago,
Learning quick.
what's that?
Learning quick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Look, I'm a quick study. I actually, it's funny. I was talking to Mercy earlier on a call, and I was like, dude, I'm in these like channels with you that you've invited me to for a very specific purpose, which is I am treating traders like a species, and I'm being so anthropological. I'm just studying you guys to understand like who you are, why you say what you say, do what you do, because I'm trying to learn. Because again, to me, that is the kind of the founder's job, is to adapt and market to audiences by understanding them. Anyway, that's beside the point. You asked me about the token. Let me tell you this thought that hit my head. And this is also something that I spoke to Ben about back in July or August. I had this exact thought, which is I kept noticing that crypto, the ICM liquidity was 0.004% of crypto liquidity at large. I kept looking at this number, just kept coming up. And then I looked at the Believe screen, or Believe ecosystem liquidity, and I noticed that Believe's token sucked up like between 75 and 80% of it on any given day, especially through the summer. It was doing that a lot.
Okay.
And I was just, the thought I had in my brain is, why does this exist? Like, it's not like we have any pairings with the ecosystem this token is literally taking away the liquidity that it was promised to the founders on the launchpad. This is not serving the ecosystem in any meaningful way. And then the liquidity that was going to the Believe token, generating fees, was not being re-injected into the ecosystem in any way. There was no marketing to be done. Believe didn't believe in marketing. I mean, this is something that Ben told me explicitly on the podcast we did in September that went live. I asked him about marketing, and he specifically said, I do not believe in marketing. I believe in product-led growth. And I had this thought, the same exact thought that you have on this question of like, why does Believe have a token? I don't know. I don't know why Believe has a token. And I challenged, I actually I don't remember if I challenged Ben on it. I think I wanted to on a call. I was like, hey, I think I wanted to. I was on a call with him and I said, hey, at the end of this call, I have a provocative question for you, not to be offensive. I just am curious. And I never got to ask him that question because the fucking call went on for 45 minutes and I totally forgot to ask him. But that was going to be my question. It's like, why do you have a token? You're not using the fees to market your ecosystem. You're not you're robbing the liquidity of your ecosystem into your token. 8 out of every $10 is going to you instead of your ecosystem. And everyone in your ecosystem is crashing and hurting because of it. I don't get it. And it was from total naivety. It was from total like beginner's mind that I had this exact thought. So I think you're asking like a very fair question. And this might be something that we pose to Stig.
Well, I think we know why they have a token. It's because Ben launched Pasternak on Clout.me when it was a creator capital market platform. I'm not sure if you see Dupe. This is pre-Dupe, and Stig's up here. You can talk about it too. But when Pasternak originally launched the token that's now Believe, it was Pasternak under the context of Clout.me, which was a platform for people like Ben, people like Evelyn, influencers to launch tokens, right? More CCM. He then migrated that to Launchcoin, which is now migrated to Believe. And so that's why there is a token, but I do think it might be to the detriment of the broader ecosystem. Stig, you're with us? How you doing?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, man. We're just coming off a thought now as to how the token pertains to the ecosystem. Bobby, you seem to be want to jump in here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think like let's just get into it, guys. Like, this is I don't want this to be like a boxing match, but I do have a lot of questions, and I'm going to channel a lot of the questions in like from the ecosystem, because I've asked people like what questions they have in their mind. I want to start by saying like, please do not obfuscate answers. Please do not word salad answers. Get to the point. I will challenge anything that gets word saladed because Ben does this a lot, and like sometimes I just like don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So like, let's just like answer the first question, which is, where is Ben? Why are you talking to us?
Good point.
Why is Ben not here? Why are you taking the arrows for the fucking performance that you guys have portrayed over the last 5 days? I have 102-degree fever and I'm on this fucking call. Where is your leader?
First of all, he's actually in the UK right now. Two of our we acquired a company I think about 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, right when I pretty much started. The devs were pretty talented. They came from a couple of pretty notable crypto projects. So he's actually with them in the UK. He was with his girlfriend over the weekends or whatever, but then he the point of the trip.
Are you confirming that he was at the Hotel Amman in Greece?
I have no idea where he was, honestly. But no, he's there's the whole
all right, forget it. Let's move on. I actually the question, does Ben understand that him not being here is hurting you?
I mean, I think I have no idea, honestly, but I think that's besides the point. In all honesty, I've worked with Ben directly for a while now, and I think his core talent is in product design and that's what he's really good at. He's not the best at comms. He's not the best at being kind of a forward-facing founder. He never really has been. He's always been sort of just focused, and that's where his craft and RSD comes from. And I think that's what you should focus on. And that's kind of why I more so am willing to kind of take the step and being more of the comms person that faces CT and gives more transparency to things going on. And I think that's kind of the best way for things to move forward. With the token. I think this kind of goes back to when I first started. You guys were talking about why there's a token. or like what the token is. Like I think, the way to dissect the whole thing, and I've like thought about this a lot, is there never should have been a token for Believe and Launchcoin in the first place. I actually think it's kind of a like positive thing, and a thing I respect to Ben for actually keeping Pasternak still alive. He easily could have abandoned Pasternak and just like waited and launched a new token. But he actually rebranded Pasternak to Launchcoin, and then he allowed Launchcoin to then, mold into to Believe. Was it the best route? But like the original design of the token at the very first stage was simply a meme coin, but he still used it. A lot of people held on to Pasternak when it got rebranded to Launchcoin, made millions of dollars, and like that's the game that was played. If I was in his shoes, I would have totally launched a completely different token if I was going to go that direction. But he didn't. And yeah, I think the core of all of this, like the biggest core issue, is that there is a token right now. And that's why you're seeing all this hate, is because there's, negative price action. Therefore, everyone thinks we're failing and all that sort of stuff. But like, I think a great example of a company that's going to do a token properly is like Polymarket. They're like the actual first, in my opinion, crypto railed project to, reach mass virality. And then they're going to use a token, but they're going to do it in the wrong way, in a way that actually hurts a lot of people. The token's going to probably end up being an exit scam. And that's going to be how like a lot of like the first investors actually exit Polymarket in general. And that's what like, I think we all need to like understand here is like tokens for early stage companies doesn't make sense. For Dupe, I think it actually does make sense. You guys have had product market fit, you're growing, and I think it's a really good distribution model. But yeah,
that almost feels like you're rejecting the model that kind of got you guys where you are today, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the like token model in the beginning was a really good, there was product market fit for in the early stage of this, but you're seeing it now. Most of these projects are dying and will die, for the exception of a few. But I don't think the way that ICM is structured now and how we first success, like the reason we got success in the first place was because of one feature, and the feature was the Twitter launcher. It was nothing else. The reason there was even virality and why we got a ton of attention in the first place was simply because we allowed people to launch tokens via Twitter. And that is literally how we got viral. I don't think, and then like the startup thing kind of started molding around it and all that sort of stuff, but it really started because of that feature.
And so I guess if that was the main feature and CT kind of like just took the narrative and made something of its own that wasn't created by you guys, why wasn't there like clarification earlier on? Like, hey guys, like, this isn't what we're doing. This is the vision that we have, versus like kind of waiting this long.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was completely in the wrong to wait this long for clarification. This is, again, when I was not a part of the team and I was still like a holder trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. So I agree, there probably should have been a lot more clarification. I do think at the time there was like the idea that this could work. There was a lot of, hype around it on the trader side, a ton of noise, but, we ignored like a lot of like the core issues, in which is, that launching a token is still a terrible, terrible, terrible experience for early stage founders.
And another question that I have is, just not trying to attack you guys or anything like that, but I think comms has been like a big topic of discussion on CT. And the way I like to think about it is, you guys have a token, you're a launch pad, you're going to be basically providing tech that helps anyone, really, creators, to launch tokens. How can you guide these tokens or help them to be successful through things like good communication with, belief, with holders and things of that nature? Like, how can you help them do it, since it hasn't really been fleshed out by yourselves yet?
Yeah,
like,
can I just, before you even answer that question, I like just to stack onto that, this is not the first time that Believe has been told that it is bottom of the barrel, absolute dog shit at communicating. I've never seen a company communicate this badly when hundreds of millions of dollars are being put into this ecosystem on a monthly basis. And every single time the answer has always been, oh yeah, like, oh, totally, like, we suck at communication. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. And then you hire a bunch of people, you fire them, no one's taking the reins on that. And then again, you remind Ben, it's like, hey, like you're bad at communicating. Like, who is doing this? And he's like, no. Like, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. It's like it doesn't actually take that fucking long to fix communication. Like, you just go to Twitter and you just tell people exactly what is happening. Why should anyone believe right now that Stig, you are going to solve it because you said you are going to?
And to pile on top of that, there's been 2 tweets since the Flywheel, right? There's been Kuro Beast, there's been the deleted Greed tweet, there's been the Flywheel, and then just a retweet of this. There's been 2 tweets. So, like, what happens?
Yeah. Okay. So the first part of your question is like, how do you even help projects communications if we don't have good communications?
Yes.
So that's the first question you guys asked, and you simply, I think ICM.run, I think a few other incubators and some of those other ones will be great at that. That's like their main focus. That's what they should be doing. But as Believe, that's like simply not scalable at all. So,
But you have to lead by example, right? First and foremost.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. But like, again, that is not the business that we're like trying to get into. It truly is not scalable. Like MetaDAO, for example, they're great. Like they pick 1 or 2 projects, they vet them, and then they can probably help them on the sideline. But like, it truly is not a scalable. Like, in order to get to like where we want to do in mass virality and like bring a ton of people into crypto without even knowing, like, we can't do that if we're just going to be holding hands with, you know, a company that launched an AI wrapped, you know, fitness app. Like and we're spending hours on that. Like that's just not possible. Now, in terms of like the second part is like, how do we get better at comms? I really do think that was started with like kind of, you know, hopefully my post explaining how ICM is extremely flawed. And like, you know, I've, you know, talked to Ben for like 2 or 3 hours yesterday, you know, on the overall vision and where we're going. And, you know, I'm not going to be able to leak a ton of it, but, you know, I can give hints on like how we're looking at ICM. And, you know, hopefully that I can start to portray that, you know, I haven't had the free range to really talk. But now, you know, I am.
I'm sorry, bro. Like this idea that you're now, after given the last 4 days and the last 5 days, the fact that you guys are holding cards close to your chest, like you no longer live in 2017 where stealth building was cool. We live in a timeline domination moment. It's an attention fucking economy. Like no one is giving you guys that breathing room to just like hold cards close to your chest and not talk about what you're working on. They're still holding your token. Like something has to give. I'm not saying that you guys have to build in public per se and reveal everything, but to, you know, kind of wax poetic and put out a long like vision of ICM word salad. And it
Yeah.
first of all, like it was very well, it was delicious tasting word salad. It was a lot of fucking veggies in that word salad, but no goddamn meat. You cannot come on this call, bro, and tell us that like you spoke to Ben about the vision and what you're working on, and he told you not to say much except to talk about the vision, when the explicit problem is the vision itself is not clear and no one knows what you're working on. Like, why are you guys doing this? This is so, I don't know that there's anyone in this ecosystem that wants you guys to win more badly than I do. And now I'm just like, what the, like, why am I even doing that? You guys aren't even giving me anything to work with here. Why are you holding your cards so close? Maybe you don't know what you're building. Like, do you guys actually know what you're building? What is the vision in 3 sentences? What do you guys
elevator pitch?
No, I mean, I think the vision in like 1 or 2 sentences essentially is like a platform that encompasses the whole like ICM pie. Like right now, everyone's focused on literally startups and early stage founders, but I think there's like a huge market around, you know, people, projects, and like ideas in general. So, I mean, I don't really know exactly what you're trying to get out of me besides say, oh yeah, we fucked up on comms and like, but you know, there is something that we're working on. And like,
we already know you fucked up on comms. We want details, bro. What are you guys working on? What is the vision? 3 sentences, Shark Tank pitch. We want to know, are we in or are we out? What are you building, my brother?
I mean, again, I think we're literally building markets around all of ICM, which is people, projects, and ideas. And if you can like maybe get a hint on that, but like the idea, like one thing that I think is really interesting is sentiment markets, like non-final prediction markets. And like, that's pretty much all I can really give. But I really think that's a really interesting like direction. And that's what I've been talking to Ben about.
The belief tokens.
No, different than belief tokens, but yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, I read the article that you put out the other day, and you talked about how kind of ICM has been successful for traders. You talked about how you don't really like want to basically pander to traders essentially. And I wanted to just kind of address that a little bit here because essentially your launch pad relies on CT and the capital that CT drives in order to generate revenue, hype, give your launch pad and your launches attention. I don't think that traders have had the best experience, and maybe the belief chart is probably an indication of that. But like, I do think at the same time, though, traders are there. That's where the focus should be because that's essentially the capital that you're trying to capture. I wanted to get your take on that. Are you guys focused on traders at all, or are you focused on kind of generating value from CT, like whether in the form of feedback or what have you?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a very loaded question in general. I mean, I think MetaDAO, for example, is doing a great job at curating towards traders, and I think SOAR is also curating towards traders. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but SOAR is like, deals essentially helping with like acquisition issues, and I think that's great. That solves like one major piece of the entire coin related to a company idea. And same with like MetaDAO, they're doing ownership coins, which gets token holders a little bit more rights. And I think those are all great, but again, they all don't really solve the core issue of that launching a token fucking sucks. It has zero upside for early stage founders, and I just don't think anyone really like keeps forgetting that whole entire, like, Bobby, your experience has been so fucking shitty. Everybody's experience has been shitty. Like, that needs to change first before you even go into all these other issues. So to answer your quick question, like, yes, we do care about traders. That's where the money comes from, but you need to actually bring in real value to trade before you get there. So that, yeah.
Okay, so you said that like the vision is to build for what? For creators, content, and sorry, commercial. I don't even know. Like, what is the vision?
No, I just think there's more market. Like, you can make markets around, like, ICM, intercapital markets. That's like saying that I work in finance, which could mean that I'm a partner at a massive PE firm, or I'm a fucking sheep monkey at a lending firm out in the middle of nowhere. So ICM, and everyone just got siloed in on startups. But like, in order for us to scale and get the massive upside to become a multi-billion-dollar company, we need to start thinking bigger and how we can actually capture markets around people, markets around startups, as an example, markets around middle stage companies, markets around large stage companies, markets around projects and ideas. Like,
okay,
that's how you need to think. That's like the vision.
Just to be clear, like, I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think everyone on the call is still just a little bit confused, but I think you're inching closer to like what you guys are actually trying to build. Yeah, can I just make a suggestion? Like, can we say like we're waking up, March of 2026, and we open the Believe app? Who is the person that is like opening the Believe app in your eyes? Is it the people on this call, or is it like Susan in New York, who's like walking into college that morning? Like, who's opening that app? Give us a sense of that.
I think who's actually opening the app are like online creators in general. Like, that's who I think would be mainly opening the app, so they can check, overall sentiment across. Let's just say you're Evelyn Ha, for example. Yeah. You open up the Believe app and you see, okay, I have like this many people that, have been following me on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. My overall sentiment score is high. Like,
yep.
My engagement is increasing month over month, and they can kind of get a full big picture on their online creativity persona. And that same thing can work for a company. You could have Dupe open up. Bobby, you would open up the app and be like, okay, we have an 80%, sentiment score. 80% of the people like us. We're relatively moving in the right direction. But then, Bobby, you open up your personal one and you fucking called someone, the N-word or something like that.
Whoa!
I'm just giving an example, but your personal,
it's a good real life example.
But your personal sentiment is down in the tank. But that's different from Dupe, because Dupe is actually providing a great service but your personal score is different. Like I think that's like kind of what
Okay.
we're.
Okay, I got it. Okay, now let's talk about where the money flows in, because obviously ICM, if you're thinking broadly about ICM, there is like some level of capital formation, some level of money flowing in. Like, am I opening this app and like opening up Evelyn's profile? I don't even know if it'll be a profile or her creator page, and saying, Evelyn, I think is going to be a shining star in the future. I want to buy the Evelyn token. Is that what's happening?
No, I don't think there's gonna be tokens tied to like the actual name. I think it's more gonna be like if you believe in them or you don't.
Got it. I think so. I'm not.
So
So
I
there's-
think
there's
I
no-
have a comprehensive view of the picture here. I think
Okay.
this kind of leads into the whole belief score, the belief tokens. I think the idea here is people come with an idea, vision, project, maybe not even pre-revenue, pre-product, pre-anything. And then you're gauging what the interest from the community looks like. Maybe they raise funds somehow and start working towards this product / vision. So you're taking it like a step prior to even startups. It's just pre-idea, like idea, that's it. And then build out that vision / company seems to be, if I'm understanding it correctly, the direction Believe is interested in heading.
I think that's again one piece of it. Whereas like in its current form, you could only work on companies that have somewhat have formed or are in like dupes level, which are matured and are making money. Like that's how Believe or Launchcoin was initially structured to like cater towards that crowd. But I think the way that we're looking is like, yes, you could essentially do a pre-idea, or you could do, a dupe level. They all fit in the same category per se. So yes, you are seeing how bigger this net can cast versus the direction that we were in. It just wasn't scalable, and it's not. Yes, it's a big market. There's a lot of trader market fit, but it doesn't allow us to go bigger.
I think the interesting thought with this though is then how do you align incentives for these creators to go and fulfill this vision? Because right now they get all their fees as soon as they get released to them. They get them and they can go and run away if they want to. How do you align these incentives now for creators to actually go and build out on this vision that they've clearly established that there's interest for? Do you guys maybe withhold half the fees and only pay them out if they're talking to their community, if there's a vote for it? Like maybe you keep bringing up MetaDAO, maybe there is some sort of voting system or governance system to where they actually only receive these fees if they build out this vision that they're talking about, rather than just bring up a vision that everyone likes and then just run off with the money.
Yeah,
I think kind of had that issue.
Yeah, well. I think there's two of those. I mean, you can dive into the fact of like, we're exploring the voting aspect, but that also complicates the user experience. We're also, exploring the vesting structure as well for some of these fees. But yeah, I mean, I think both of those are viable options. There's definitely going to be some experimentation there to ensure that, there are some protection from people just farming everybody. But yeah.
Okay. Avi, hey.
What's up, guys? I just want to make something very clear. I'm not here to like fucking FUD or like rail anyone, by the way. Like that is not what I want to do. I actually just want to I think Stig, like the biggest concern that people have is like they want to see that you guys like know what you're doing. And like the way I like to quantify what that means is like if you spend like months on end describing like a vision, for example, and just saying like this is what we want to see, that has to be backed up by like concrete facts on what is exactly being built, right? So like when Bobby, for example, asks like, hey, like I want to understand what the Believe app is going to look like, who's going to be opening the app, he also wants to know like when you open the app, are we going to see live streams? Like, are we going to see like what features are involved with it? Like, why did we pivot to like a CCM if that's what's going towards? Like, I feel like on the comms in general, which is like advice I gave even Bobby, like regarding everything, is like if you're not providing concrete things, people always just naturally think it's something that's just like in the air, especially when price is down, right? When price is down, that's when like you have to be providing these concrete things. So I'm not even here to FUD. I'm basically here to say like, look, if these concrete things exist, say it, and it will probably help everyone watching. Like, what are these things? Like, what is the features? Like, what is the vision? And say it in the most clearest like way possible, basically. Not like we're exploring this, exploring that. Like exploring is nothing. Like that's
To jump on this, I will say, Avi, you've been incredibly good with Kled about explaining your vision. And I think initially when you guys even launched, it mostly was just that vision, right? You had some rails from Neutrality, but you've done such a good job explaining a vision. You actually built an incredible community that's latched onto it. So I think there's a lot of credence to what you say in this regard. And so maybe Stig, you want to respond to what Avi just said.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. But I also do think tokens in general push people to focus purely on talking about shit. Like, I don't know how to properly say this, but like, Avi, you're really good at, garnering attention. You're really, really good at it. But like, you're focusing a lot of time on that. And like,
but
that should not be the case for a lot of these projects. You should not be spending half of your day trying to figure out how to drum up attention around your token.
I think
you should be spending most of your time on your project.
Sig, I think there's a disconnect there. I don't spend half my day. I spend like literally maybe 10 minutes like telling a team member like what to do. Like these, like tweeting once a day is like really not that difficult. Like I don't know why there's like some like huge, like it's just not hard. Like and it's something that you should do because it's not only building like rapport amongst holders, but it's actually like building the business. Like I don't tweet every single day for my holders. That's not what it's for. I tweet every day when there's like big things happening because all of Silicon Valley sees it and I get more leads when it comes to data deals, et cetera, right? That's like why I do it. I think there's a lot of benefit in doing that. And when you have a publicly traded asset, you are also signing up to no longer allow yourself to build in stealth. And no mechanism you build into an app is going to fix that because it's public psychology. If there's a publicly traded asset, you can't change the way a mass population thinks through an app alone. It is purely, you're stuck in the game of building in public. That is what happens when you put a publicly traded asset on the market, no matter what it is. It has to be built in public. You're not allowed to build in stealth. That is my opinion on it.
I agree. I stated this at the beginning of the call. Like, us having a token right now is our biggest issue. I totally agree. I don't really know what else you want me to say there besides having a token is our biggest issue. We should not have had a token. It should have been waited until we actually found like the true concrete direction we're going. So that's how these tokens should be used, not to just create attention, in my opinion. But there you go.
Oh, okay. Stig, I think one thing that would be hugely beneficial for Believe is maybe you've gotten a ton of feedback since the Flywheel went live. Right here, this call has been nothing but I feel like feedback the whole time, and we really want to hear from you. What's like a few of these pieces you've heard from the community that you've actually taken and internalized and started working towards? I think a lot of people think Ben has an ego, and maybe they think he's unwilling to change and form to what product market fit is or what it looks like, what the people really want. Maybe give us an idea internally from the Believe team side. What are you guys taking to heart and integrating from maybe community suggestions or Avi or Bobby here?
Yeah, from a few pretty like, Bobby, Avi as well. I know I talked to Apewood for about an hour and a half last week. He really gave me some pretty good insights on just like really stepping back and trying to define what ICM is and like the whole, because everyone was getting super pigeonholed on the fact that it should be for startups. But again, like, not to reiterate on what I said earlier, but really step back because, Believe was actually probably the one that pioneered ICM essentially in the beginning. And really, because, and have the ability to define it. Do we have enough power to define it, currently because of our recent performance? Probably not as much. But I do think that there is a chance for us to really define what it is and set the direction. And yeah.
You came on this call before the Flywheel, and you kind of told us about some stuff you had in store. One of which was you have these projects lined up internally to launch once the Flywheel goes live. Let's see, I have a few listed here. I'll just read them out. So you had withheld launches for post Flywheel. You would say that Believe app will be the best app in all of crypto. You said you're going to incorporate legal structure, tax, chats into the app. You'd be picking up marketing with podcasts and more marketing going out, going live. Maybe tell us some development on that. Where are you guys standing with all that stuff I just mentioned? What are your next moves? What happened to the withheld launches? Are more of those coming? Just idea on the future here.
Yeah, I mean, just, maybe I'll go one at a time and you just can't ask like 9 things.
I know.
But, but withheld launches I've talked to a bunch of guys internally. There's like a small group that's helped me. I want to give a shout out to those guys as well. We've been just going back and forth. Like, I personally, there's a lot of these guys that, could have launched in the current market, but like, and with our sentiment, I personally feel terrible being like, yeah, you should definitely launch. You're just going to, your project's going to get destroyed. And then it's just, they're going to have a terrible experience. So we're, we still have some of them, we're talking to them. We're not going to launch them in the current market. Like I personally feel more like it's a moral thing for me. I'm not going to just lead these guys into a pit of fire.
Have
that's
you
what
lost?
it is.
Have you lost anyone?
Yeah,
looking to
definitely.
launch?
Definitely
Yeah.
lost some, for sure. I mean, Pump Fun is offering hundreds of thousands of dollars for these, lower tier, even the mid tier projects to launch on their platform, and like that's a game that we can't afford to play, and that's why, like in general, this whole ICM launchpad business model is kind of a race to zero, because like Jupiter is even implementing a launch. Like it makes sense that some of these projects are migrating off of Believe. Like it truly does make sense for them, because it literally doesn't make sense that they're paying us a percentage of fee when we're basically a Jupiter wrapper. That was like what Launchcoin was. And like over time, it's like all these companies should go straight to Meteor. They should go straight to Jupiter and launch on their own. That makes the most sense for their company growth. It does not make sense to launch on the third-party launchpad.
Does that mean though, Stig? Does that mean that all of these companies are going to get their fee wallets? That they're going to get all of your current holdings of their tokens? Because if you're basically intimating that Believe is useless to their success, which is totally fine, and you've admitted that you shouldn't be holding on to their, like you shouldn't be getting.
Yeah. I think that would be the plan. I haven't like. I can't fully speak on the exact thing because that's like some of the engineering issue. Like there's some V1 tokens, V2 tokens that I'm not like fully aware of, like the entire crux of the situation. But yeah, I think definitely would help projects that are wanting to migrate off of Believe. I don't, we've helped a few already, and like I don't really see there being a reason why we would ever just withhold them and say fuck you guys.
Hold up. You own 3% of our supply, and you withheld it for us, and literally
because you have caused a bunch of issues. Like if you went about this very professionally, I think it would have been a lot different.
No. Time out. Sorry, not the right call. Please, not right now. I said,
I didn't even know you were coming on this call. So
yeah. Take it up privately, dude. It sounds like Avi, you're gonna get your token. So chill the fuck out. Take a win when you can. Okay. I just want to understand. I'm like a pretty big Believe holder right now, right? And as I kind of look at this, price action, we are getting, oh boy, obliterated. Okay, so how should we be thinking about the tokens, dude? Because you guys just spent all this time relaunching your token. You made people migrate the token. You launched a Flywheel on the token. A lot of people held the token. They're still holding the token. Like, how should we? What is your message to Believe holders? Because like simultaneously, you are now saying, I don't know why we have a token, and I don't think we should. That makes me a little nervous. And now
I don't think you should be dissecting it like that at all. I think the token obviously is going to still be a huge cornerstone of like the ecosystem, and all the money that we're generating forward will go into the token.
Good.
We're not abandoning the token. There's still going to be a lot of upside. I actually think the upside is now greater with the vision that we're attacking.
Can someone please clip that, put that all over the timeline so that Ben doesn't come back from his fucking vacation and think that he can just abandon this thing? Because Ben also
He's
told
not
me
abandoning it either. There's no abandoning of the token.
Good. Well, I will say that your captain has abdicated the throne. He is currently in a situational crisis, because it feels like there's a massive dereliction of duty in play of him not showing up to this call. I'll be completely honest with you. It is shameful and wrong. And every single Believe holder believes this. It is not just me. And Stig, you don't have to say it. I know you believe it. Everyone at Believe should believe it, because we all believed in Ben. And he should understand that you guys are in a crisis mode, that a lot of people's livelihoods are being wiped away by him not showing up and saying these things. I'm going to move on from that. I don't need you to address that. I'm just saying it's good to hear you say nothing is being abandoned, because that is the current sentiment. And I want to make sure that Ben's feet are held to the fire, because he, in my interview in September, said, I will work on Believe / the Believe ecosystem / the token till the day I die. I don't plan on selling. All of the value of Believe is in the token. That should not change. That would
Yeah,
be
it's not going
very
to change,
wrong.
and I wouldn't be working on this. Like, that's not my thing. Like, I personally have put my entire reputation on this, and I would never work on something that I think we're just going to abandon and exit scam. Like, that's personally. I mean, you don't know who I am personally, but I've been in crypto for a while. And
I don't.
that's
I have
just
seen
not
your face
no.
once. I have seen your
That's not-
face once. Very handsome face. Very handsome.
Oh, thank you.
But I just think
Quick
it's
question
wrong.
for.
It's just
quick
it's
question.
just wrong that
I got time for like two or three more questions, and then I got to dip.
Okay, fine. Go ahead, Chip.
So one question that I had is, earlier you mentioned that the token is kind of like your main problem, right? You shouldn't have launched a token. When does the token not become a problem? When does it transition into like something that acts as a tailwind instead of a headwind?
I think it's when we like truly find product market fit and like have a fully operating business. Like, I think that's when it won't become a problem. And people are going to say, oh, I'm going to jump into your thing and say, oh, you found product market fit with ICM products. Yeah, at the time, but like, look at the ICM landscape now. Like XPL, for example, came from a quote unquote top tier, basically ICM launchpad. It has the full KYC, all the legal stuff, SVPs, the whole entire 9 yards. That's what Echo is. It was acquired by Coinbase. But look at it now. Look at that damn token. Like, I think that it explains the entire issue, like, in its current form. So yes, we had product market fit at the time, but that doesn't mean it's. I think there was like an article that was like floating around that's like, building crypto long term. If you read that, I think it really, really, it has a huge tie to like what's going on here with like ICM and ICM launchpads in general. But yeah, once we like fully get that business going, I think that's when it won't be an issue anymore.
Stig, a lot of people had questions about the retroactive flywheel. And Chill, sorry to cut you off.
No,
I'm trying
you're
to
good.
keep this quick if Stig has to jump. People had a lot of concern about the retroactive flywheel. They saw you guys launch 100% flywheel. I was happy to see 100%. But people were saying, well, there's no retroactive fees. What have you guys been doing for 6 months? That's something you talked about on our last call. Are you guys still planning on using retroactive fees to go back to the flywheel?
Yes. 100%. Yes. Not 100% of them, but yes, like 100%. We are using retroactive fees to buy them, but we're doing. I think we're going to do it very strategically.
I think
now in this week is a great time. Was a better time yesterday? Maybe, but I do think there's a strategic way about going about this versus just jamming it all in at once with everyone, which is what everyone expects.
Do you guys think you could aim to offset the supply that was minted into circulation with the new Believe contract?
What do you mean by that?
Is there an internal goal? Maybe obviously there was 33% inflation on the token from Launchcoin to Believe. Is there like an internal goal of you guys offsetting that supply via buybacks at some point, or?
I think the idea is to buy back as much of the token as possible and withhold it. Maybe there's a chance that we burn it. Maybe there's a chance we don't. But I don't want to commit to anything now.
Okay. Chill. Sorry, you finish, Bobby.
It's great. I appreciate that you answered that question so clearly, and even kind of shared a timeline that this week is a good week for buybacks for the buy wheel. That's good. I would agree with you. It's a pretty good time to activate that goddamn flywheel because I have a $10,000 bet going with Avi that I don't plan on losing. So please make sure that I don't. Side note on that. Dude, I have to say, I know you have to leave here. I have to say, I think you did a good job on this call. You've taken a lot of arrows.
Yep.
I would, like there were really like literally no softballs on this. And I honestly don't think Ben could have handled this interview. Just knowing what I know about him, I think he would have left a lot sooner. Just a couple things. I think like if you are running comms for Believe and you are the person in charge of making sure people understand what's going on, I think just like a massive overwhelming commitment to not just putting out platitudes and waxing poetic in long form posts, but showing up on spaces, showing up to these podcasts. I would say for the next, at least till the end of November, when my bet is done, do it every day. Just like keep talking about Believe, more bullish shit out there. And then after that, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree, and hopefully I can come on some more microcap gem shows. I do like the hosts here and what they run. So
Thanks.
yeah, no, I do plan on doing that, and I do think you're going to see like an update on our vision very soon, both reflected within the app and like overall direction, essentially on the timeline. So there are things moving. We're not just sitting here doing nothing. there actually is things moving, and I know everyone just has that opinion that we aren't. But yeah, I appreciate that, so Bobby.
Cool.
Stig, maybe
All right,
closing thoughts. What are you guys working on? What are you most excited for? What should people give some people the hope before you tune off here?
What am I really excited? I'm excited on like really unveiling this whole entire vision, like with actual clarity. I'm not really able to give a ton of clarity right now, but I'm really excited about it. I think people will hopefully see how big the net can actually get, and the market they're actually targeting allows like the actual upside of the token to be a lot bigger than it was earlier. Sticking to an ICM launchpad, there's millions of them. There's not a whole lot of differentiation or moats there. So, and that like at the beginning when Launchcoin was the only coin out there, yeah, I think it could have hit 1 to 2 billion. But we've since had a million other people come into the space, completely limiting that upside. But I think this new direction, allows that upside to be greater. So, yeah.
Stig, how are you guys thinking about competition? Because we're seeing a bit of it popping up right now.
Yeah, I think the competition's great, but all of them are solving something, a small piece in the entire issue. But like again, the core issue is that the entire token experience for early stage founders is terrible. But that you can solve the acquisition issue, you can solve the ownership issue. There's small things that each launchpad will try to solve, but if you don't solve the main issue at its core, then you're not going to get anywhere, I think, long term. And that's just my opinion. But yeah.
All right, Stig. Well, thanks for coming on. We hope to get you back on. Hopefully you didn't take this like we were trying to.
Yeah, and this wasn't meant to be a shakedown, but I think this conversation needed to happen, and I'm glad it happened, and so we do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course. No, I knew this was going to be a heated one, so I appreciate you guys letting me come on and try to defend myself. And yeah,
No,
I think it's going to be a very interesting year, but I think it's going to be a great one. And I'm rooting for everybody involved, Bobby, and you guys as well. So
yeah,
I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, brother.
Thanks for your time, Stig. Appreciate you.
Talk to you guys later. See you.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Anyone explain to me what this new Believe vision is? Because I still don't get it.
I'll explain what I'm picking up. Chill.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I already did it once.
No.
No, you go. No, you go. No, you go right now.
I don't know what the vision is. No, I'm just kidding. So here's what I'm picking up. ICM is just a small pool. ICM in terms of startups, the way that we think about ICM is a small pool of the overall pie that they're after. And what I'm unclear on is what the rest of the pie is. I wish we could have, if we had like 10 more minutes, I would have been able to ask him that. But they're apparently saying that, the rest of this pie is worth chasing way more than sticking around for this startup ICM thing that CT has essentially talked about over these last 6 months. So that's what I'm getting from it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you guys have any takeaways.
What's the bet? I want to know.
Oh, you haven't heard the bet? Avi, I tried to get in on the side bet, but Avi rage quit the chat before I could get to him. You guys want to talk about the bet you guys got going on?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
It's definitely gonna be nulled. But
Well, what I know for sure is I'm not going to win that bet. What I don't yet know for sure is will Avi win that bet? That would be a very bad bet.
I have a very small sliver of.
I'd say you have a better shot at this current juncture.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to win it. Look, I wish they just owned up to it and were like, "Fuck it, token's stupid." Like, why did they do the relaunch if they just thought the token was stupid? That's what he said.
If they would have abandoned the token, there would be absolutely no future, right? Like they had to do they're forced into doing the token. They can't just abandon at this point.
But they basically did worse than that because they let it slow bleed it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
My problem was with having CT cook up this entire vision around ICM when number one, that's not what you were chasing, and number two, your token like had nothing to do with that. So I wish there was some communication much earlier around, hey guys, that's a really cool vision you got, but that's not what we're working on, and allow other people to build versus like, I mean, the way you make your revenue is people who think of ICM as startups on chain. Like that's how you've made the 40 million over the last 6 months.
Guys, it's not even that, man. Look, fucking expand your vision to everything. Do it all right? Go fucking crazy. But I honestly have PTSD from the word vision. The fuck is this, dude? I just keep hearing vision and plans and like fucking future and a bunch of like mumbo jumbo slop every 10 seconds from not only them, by the way, from a lot of people. And there's nothing concrete about that. Like, you can say that stuff and then be like, look, we did this to go towards that goal. But like, what is shipped? Like, what has been put into the world physically, like materially? Yeah.
I 100%, I like 100% agree with this. I think it's wild that like Steak said he did a 2-hour conversation with Ben yesterday and was explicitly told not to reveal much. Like, read the fucking read the. It was on the call. I mean, like
when I joined, or before?
I don't remember, but yeah. It's just like read the room here. Like the lack of information is what's causing turmoil. Do not the symptom and the problem and the cure are not all the same. Like the cure is not less information when you are hurting because of less information. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'll be honest, like my read, and obviously like I'm not incentivized to say this because I don't want Launchcoin to hurt. And I honestly like don't want Believe to hurt. I want them to do well. I truly want them to win. I don't know why the fuck I want that anymore, but it is what it is. Is that I don't think they actually know what they're doing. And if all they said was that, it's like, look, we don't yet know what the right answer is. We're going to ship, probably 4 or 5 times before we get to what the right answer is. But we know where we want to be. Like, we want Susan in, New York to wake up in March, and this is what she's doing in this app. She's checking her belief score. She's looking up company. By the way, I still don't know what that idea is. Like, I don't get it, but let's just say that's the idea. It's like, okay, cool. Like, that is where we're going. And we think what Avi just said, which is correct, which is you can paint the platitudes all day. And Lord knows I do it. And let's be honest, so does Avi. But what happens on the back end of that is Avi, myself, a handful of other ICM companies, every week we are putting up content showing you the behind the scenes. This is what we shipped. This is what we're working on. What do you guys think about this feature? Here's a partnership that we signed. Like, just that in addition to the platitudes goes a very long way, because it's really hard. I put up a tweet the other day that said, faith is blind, believing is seeing. They don't want people to believe. They want people to have faith. And traders are done with that. They need to read the room. People do not want to operate blindly. People need to see. They are living in a post-pandemic world. Attention economy, it is. Owning the timeline is the number one goal. And I don't think they understand that or value that. And that's a cause for concern.
By the way they said it, it kind of seems like Stig and them want to build some sort of infra or like an app that lets you build in stealth and still have a live coin. But I don't know how the fuck that's like that isn't possible. If you have a publicly traded asset, it relies on comms from a team to speak. Otherwise, yeah, it's just faith. It's like literally, it's just pure faith, like blind faith. Yeah.
Well, I think that's why people can build conviction, stuff like Khaled and stuff like Dupe, is because it's not just you telling them to believe in it. Like, believe is just telling you to believe in it. It's okay, I'm showing the behind the scenes. Avi posted a tweet. Okay, $3 million deal closed. Avi posted an LOI. LOI is not really the contract, but we'll take it. At least there's some sort of evidence showing that you guys are putting in work. And I think that's the difference between building conviction and having this just belief that people, they need to have conviction. And you guys do a good job building that conviction for holders. Belief has not. They've just been telling you to believe, but haven't been showing it. And there's a big difference.
I like the way that Trader 2300 from YouTube, appreciate you tuning in, how he puts it. Old vision is startups, new vision is everything you can value, hence build a market. So they're pivoting from, they're essentially pivoting from a model that built the entire ICM, that CT built the narrative around, and they're pivoting to an untested model or an untested.
But we're
market.
not even pivoting, right? Because we don't know what like pivoting assumes that it's going somewhere. Like, where is it even going? Like, what the fuck? That is the problem. I love pivots. Pivots are awesome. If you haven't found PMF yet, go pivot. Fucking figure it out. But like, what are we going to?
By the way, like, actually, there's a comment on stream right now by Markow777. Dupe is Chat GPT. Cled is Data Hub. Believe is ... a vision ?
Yeah.
That is it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the fucking problem. You need to be able to fill that blank with a couple words, and no one is doing it, which you have to believe the only thing you can take away from that is they don't yet know what the answer is. And by the way,
or is that what Believe wants? Is that what Believe
no,
wants?
No, I don't think so. And but here's the thing. I'll tell you why I don't think so. It's because for the last 6 months, they've told us what their vision was, and then they reneged it. And I would say that they would have been given a lot of mercy and a lot of leeway if they just came out and said, guys, there's something bigger. We're trying to put our finger on it. I've built apps that reach tens of millions of people in the past, a la Ben, because that's what he's done. I've reached tens of millions of people in the past. I know what I'm doing here. Here's kind of what that process looks like, right? Like, and like, I think we're going to be able to crack this nut, but it's definitely a whole lot bigger than just startups launching on chain. I think people would have seen that as really bullish, come out and supported the hell out of him, and probably helped him kind of frame that vision. And I just like, it baffles me, and it baffles the mind, generally speaking, that they're hiding the ball like this.
Do you think they need a figurehead, Bobby? You said, well, hire someone as a CEO and just like, Ben, clearly you're not
20 million. You can buy talent.
Do you think they need a figurehead?
I don't look, I don't know anything about the inner workings of Believe. I've never met Ben in person. I've never met a single person that Believe in person. I've never met anyone on this call in person. I live in my own little cave. All right. So I'm not even going to pretend to think that I know anything about how Ben operates. What I know is a lot of very savvy financial institutions have trusted him with hundreds of millions of dollars in the past. What I know is since he was a child, he has shipped apps that reach tens of millions of users. What I know is when the wind is at his back, he knows how to frame the vision and get people to believe. I know those things. And for whatever reason, for the last 3 months, he forgot that. And he is now paying the price for it. And it should not be any surprise. And I think then in the face of that, hiding from, this problem, going to whatever, Greece and then the UK. Like, I don't care if you acquired a company in the UK and you're there. Last I checked, I've been to Greece and the UK. They have internet. Last I checked, it's not a Chinese time zone. Like, it is a few hours from now. It is not even like 8:30 p.m. in that time zone. You can jump on a call. You can talk to your followers. You can talk to your day ones. You can talk to your believers who are currently feeling abandoned. So it is a dereliction of duty. And if you need another figurehead to do it, I don't think Ben would ever do that, because this is his baby. And I understand I've been 25 and a CEO of my own company before. It's very hard to admit that I might not be the right person to run this. I should be probably running product, because in Ben's eyes, he's probably thinking, I have not yet been given a shot. My vision is still in my head and I need to paint it for you. And then now the question is, will the market believe that? Will the market believe him? I don't know. So I guess we'll see. But I am currently extremely underwhelmed.
Yep. Well,
that about sums it up for me. There's a lot that needs to be worked on, but I love I like the future and what that looks like right now. We have a lot of players coming to the space. We got a lot of people building. We got projects like you guys, Cled and Dupe leading the charge and showing people how to really get it done. So I love the future regardless.
I guess I was confused though. He mentioned like, we want to let projects migrate off of Believe, and like that's what Believe was built for. And I think he even mentioned, look, we think it's ultimately better for people to launch just through Meteora and have their own pools. And like, I'm just confused on where Believe comes in at all, if they think just handing it off at some point is like the vision for all projects.
Well, he said it. They don't have any product market fit right now. They're not generating any revenue. Like they still need to like hash things out. They're at this point, like this, if this truly was a pivot, like they're pre-product, pre-revenue, like especially with like traders and projects leaving the ecosystem, like they have nothing now. They have nothing now. So as far as like valuation for their token, like doesn't really bode well for that. But
can I give you guys what I think is like a potential
Go
$100
for
billion, $100 billion pitch for Believe?
go for it.
Right. So it's like, you might say something like, guys, read the room. We're in the age of AI. People, millions of people, tens of millions of people are about to lose their 9 to 5. They're all going to transition to becoming creators, to kind of self-finance. These creators are transitioning into founders. They're going to bring their audiences with them to Believe because they need to finance their livelihoods. And we are living in the age of prediction markets. People want to bet. People want to gamble. We're going to give them the rails to do that for tens of millions of creators who will bring 1 billion followers with them. We think what's possible on the back end of that is the average user on our platform is trading, call it whatever you want, $50 a month globally. And when we reach 1 billion people, that's $50 billion in trading volume minimum per month. Well, you have to think about buys and sells. I mean, you have 1 billion people trading, is probably like $100 billion a month, $200 billion a month being traded on our platform. And we're going to earn fees through the Believe token on the basis of that. The thesis is joblessness is going to increase. AI is taking over jobs. Creator economy is growing. Mr. Beast is the prototype. Everyone's going to do that. We already went through this phase in 2012 when everyone said people are going to be on all over Instagram making money, all over Facebook. And no one believed them. And look what happened. TikTok emerged from that. YouTube emerged from that. And people make their entire livelihood streaming. It's going to happen again because of AI. People are going to be forced into a corner, and we're going to be there when they need to finance their audiences or, fundraise from their audiences who believe in them. Those are the rails that we're building. And that's why this is a $100 billion company in the next 3 years. Or like, you could just say that. Okay. You could say that. That was off the dome. And like, that's a start. And now you can talk.
That's why I built this show. I was unemployed. I had lost my job, and there was I sent out hundreds of applications, nothing. And this is what came out of it. Was I was like, yo, let's turn on the camera. Let's do something for ICM.
And now you guys are the preeminent fucking podcast because you
we had more than CoinDesk today. CoinDesk is like an $80 million company.
Exactly. And I think that is where things are going. If Believe just came out and said that is a $100 billion pitch. A lot of people would pay attention to that because all of the conditions for that to become true was set in motion 2 years ago. AI is coming for everyone's jobs, believe it or not. And people will need believers to finance their lifestyle while they entertain them. Okay, say that. Make that pitch. But show us a way that you're going to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Show us a way, a reason. Give us the math. Do that math for us. Right. And what's surprising me is that Ben has raised so much money in his lifetime, hundreds of millions of dollars, last I checked, that he understands that this is what is necessary. And he's just like not doing it. So this is the disconnect. And like Avi's giving me shit for believing in Ben and the Believe team for a very long time. And I think he's like turning out to be correct. And like it is hard for me to look at the jockey and the track record of the jockey with the horses that he's raced and not believe that he knows what he's doing. And it just like turns out that he just doesn't fucking know what he's doing or is purposely hiding the ball, which I just like don't understand.
Can I ask an Avi question? At what point did you realize it? Because you did see this first before anyone else, this potential inevitable outcome. But when did it click for you?
I remember Ben unfollowed me on Twitter, when I was like at 35M the first time around. And then I called him. I'm like, bro, why'd you unfollow me? And he was like, I'm not going to like back any more projects. I'm like, why are you not going to back any more projects? Like, what's the reason? Like, what's the point of the launch pad after it, other than that? And he just didn't have an answer. I kept asking like over and over again. And this brother just never answered the fucking question. I think I left more out of emotion for sure. But even if I didn't, it would have happened probably like a week later after I had originally left. Yeah, bro.
But here's the thing. Like Avi left in the wrong way. in my opinion, because he's right. He left extremely emotionally, so he was not able to take anyone with him because no one felt the way that he felt.
Correct.
And I'll be completely honest. I don't think Avi is a seer. All right, I think he went through a very traumatic couple weeks with Believe, and did not want to deal with it anymore. Avi tried to convince many companies to leave that ecosystem for a very long time, and no one listened because of the way Avi left. So maybe the lesson for Avi is comport yourself differently the next time you leave your next fucking ecosystem. And
I'm never gonna be a part of an ecosystem.
yes, whatever you do, whatever
Why would I
whatever
ever
you
do that again? That is, dude. Launch
just-
pads are fucking useless if they don't have like. They need a lot more work done to them if they want to be useful.
I agree with that, but I don't think like Avi left knowing that this would be the outcome. If I'm being completely honest,
That's bullshit, Bobby. I told you 50 fucking times the same day I left. This shit is going straight to zero, and I said it for weeks.
But Bobby
By the
thinks
way,
you were saying that because of emotional
every day.
rather than.
Right. It's like what you were saying though, Avi, on the back end of that for a long time. Like it was pure emotion. Like we had a lot of conversations about it. It was, and by the way, we also looked at other launch pads and decided what we decided today, which is if we're doing anything, it's migrating to being an independent token. Right. And like it's not going to be something like a token tied to a launch
Bobby,
pad.
how much did Pump Fund throw at you guys? I know they came with a bag.
I can't talk about that. I can't well, just to be clear, we spoke to them in August. It was very different in August. It would be a whole lot more now. And look, like Pump Fund is trying, they really want to talk to us about this. Soar wants to talk to us about, I get it. Like, I totally get it. I just don't see the upside. Like they all have very different models. And I do think that I was talking to Mercy earlier and he was talking about founder market fit. And I think like he actually talked about Pump Fund very specifically. Actually, no, he was talking about Product Hunt, but I think Pump Fund's founder, the way he comports himself online, Elon, is more founder market fit. Like he is very communicative. He's constantly talking. He's constantly sharing. That's what the people want to see. And I just don't. It's possible that Ben just doesn't have founder market fit with traders, and like traders have to wake up to that.
Is there stigma with
Well, I think it's
Pump
clear
that
he
holds
is.
it back?
Pump is never going to hit ICM unless they change their name to ICM. It's just not going to happen. There's no serious startup is going to launch on Pump. Like they have to rebrand is what I'm saying. I'm saying they can do it, but I was talking to Rain about this, and I even told Alon this several times. Like you got to actually completely separately categorize this ICM stuff so that no one even thinks of the word Pump Fund when they associate with your startup. Like just the name alone. That is the only issue.
Yeah, they need an ICM arm for sure. It can't be the same launchpad that people are launching butthole token on, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that their push with Spotlight? Is that?
But Spotlight's just an account highlighting projects. We're saying we need a whole nother separate the two.
I pitched to Alon make a literal separate domain name on it can be a part of the Pump Fund wing, but a disassociate and then say look, this is our push into ICM, and then that would be a good way to do it. But I think there needs to be it's just not branded correctly.
I gotta get back to work, boys. But is there anything I can help answer or clear up? I feel like that was a pretty good interview.
Closing thoughts. I think it's great. Closing thoughts, Bobby. What should everyone else on this call do right now based on what they heard?
I think you should research Dupe. Dupe is the preeminent standard bearer of ICM. Everyone wants to be like Dupe, including the wannabe Dupe on the call named Avi Patel. This motherfucker is so desperate. This motherfucker wants so much of Dupe's credibility in his lap. Don't give it to him.
I'm about to run laps around you, Bobby. See, this is what you want, right?
Is it 4 weeks? Is it 4 weeks?
No, I said 4 days. I'm about to run laps.
4 days?
Laps.
All right. Are you going to be number one on the App Store like we are?
Dude, I will get there fucking close.
You guys should launch on the same day.
Go ahead, baby. Go launch with me. Let's see what's what. Let's actually go head to head. Let's actually, if you crack top 1,000, if you crack top 1,000, I will send you a bottle of champagne, even though you don't drink. I'm kidding. No, I love Avi. I mean, look, Dupe owns a
bottle of orange juice.
Dupe owns a lot of cred, but no. But the parting thoughts are Dupe fucking rocks. All right, thanks guys. Love you guys.
All right, Bobby.
All right, Bobby. Thanks for your time, bro.
we're gonna keep Avi up here for a little bit because Avi just dropped a little bombshell tweet, said nothing else.
Guys, there's this guy glitched in the chat. This has to be that monkey profile pic in the ICM group chat, right? He's saying the same thing word for word. It has to be him. I refuse to believe it's not.
What's he been saying?
It's take back the hand that fed you. He copy pasted that 15 times and sent it to Bobby and me.
Oh, is this the gorilla?
Yeah, it's definitely him, 100%. Dude, oh my god, that is so funny.
The troll is transcended from Telegram and Twitter.
I love it. All right, boys. Thank you.